Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Edge Sports Network. We got another interview for you guys today, part of our summer series. We got AJ Bramah, Robert Morris, men's basketball. AJ, thanks so much for joining us on the site today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Great to have you on. Looking forward to this interview. I know I go to Marquette myself, so I remember when you guys came out and played Marquette this past season. I remember watching that game. We're going to get into that a little bit down the road in the interview here. I got to ask about that. But for starters here, you grew up in California, so I know the basketball culture out there is pretty amazing. You got so many teams out there, college and NBA. What kind of first got you introduced to the game, and was there anyone growing up that you really looked up to? Any teams you really followed closely? What was kind of the basketball culture like out there?
Yeah, so my first sport was soccer. So,
Hmm.
growing up, basketball wasn't really what, like I really did. So I just started growing and I just started playing basketball on like the playground
Hmm.
and then started falling in love with it. So, I grew from like in eighth grade, I grew from like 5'10" to 6'5", and then people would force me to hoop, so
Hmm.
I just started hooping, and my first time actually playing organized basketball was when I was 15. So then ever since that day, I just kind of just started sticking with it.
Hmm.
But I'll say just watching people like Chris Paul. I first started watching Chris Paul a lot.
Hmm.
I really watched LeBron a lot. So, seeing them on TV, I really wanted to do what they did. So, like they really made me really, really want to play. So I just stuck with it ever since.
Couple of great play styles right there too, LeBron and Chris Paul. You kind of get that physicality of LeBron, that all-around
Yeah.
game of LeBron, and then that kind of just craftful skill set of Chris Paul. He's very precise with everything he does, especially in his earlier days, and he's still been doing it, for years now. So
Right.
I know, you've had a really nice high school career in addition to this college career that you put together. You capped that off with a senior season where you averaged 13 points and 8 rebounds. Thinking back to, your freshman year of high school here, was college basketball always the plan, or was it, I know you said you started when you were 15, a little bit of a late
Right.
bloomer in the sport of basketball, so was it one of those
Right.
things that kind of became more of a reality as high school went on?
Being a freshman, I didn't quite think that I'll be at the Division 1 level because I was a late bloomer,
Hmm.
and at that time I was playing JV, and most of the freshmen were on like varsity and stuff like that. So, I was kind of like, okay, like that's not possible to go D1. But as my high school career kept going, I started getting better. I started to, like gain more confidence, and I believed that it was possible. So I just made it happen. I kept working.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a quick development right there. You don't see a lot of guys that can head right into high school, have that time in high school to develop, get themselves ready for college basketball at any
Right.
level, whether that be, D1, D2, JUCO. And I know you started your college basketball career at Sheridan College out in Wyoming. How was that
Right.
adjustment for you, being far away from home? Was that the first time you kind of traveled away from home?
Yes, going out to Sheridan, that
Hmm.
was actually my first time being on a plane. That was actually my first time
Wow.
being away from my family. So, going out there, it was a culture shock. It's very different from California.
Hmm.
It's like the town was very small. It was very quiet. There's no crime over there. It snows, and that was my first time being in the snow. So, so it was really cool, but it was a culture shock for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you gotta kind of get a few weeks, even a month or so, kind of to get adjusted to
Right.
everything, especially the snow.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't really. Okay, I gotta ask you this. I mean, with snow, how are you, how do you feel about snow here? You like it? Do you hate it?
I'm really not a fan of snow. Growing up,
Hmm.
like I've lived in California my whole life, so seeing it on TV, I've always wanted to be in it. But when I went to Sheridan, Wyoming, it was kind of like, okay, I don't really like snow.
No.
So yeah, I don't really like snow that much. Yeah.
The one thing about snow, yeah, it's one of those things where it's really nice from a distance. Like, it's really a great thing to see when you're sitting in 80-degree weather with a nice breeze, a nice summer
Right.
breeze.
Right.
That's my thoughts on snow.
Same here.
Oh,
Same here. Same.
I hate it too, man. I've been growing up with it my entire life. Whenever it snows, you gotta go outside, you gotta shovel off the car. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's just so much. It's freezing outside, and yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to talk about it with the nice weather going on, cause it's right around the corner. We know it's coming, but We'll
Yep, it's
w-
coming.
we'll just wait till it gets here. I mean, how'd you find out about Sheridan too? I mean, it's in Wyoming, California to Wyoming, pretty far trek right there. Did you kind of hear about it from someone, or were you doing your research on it? How'd you kind of end up at Sheridan out in Wyoming?
Well, that's a great question. My senior year,
Mm-hmm.
I was I was actually looking to go to like a junior college in California.
Mm-hmm.
But in the mid of my senior year, I had a lot of national junior college reaching out, especially from Wyoming. I had like about 5 schools from Wyoming reaching out. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure how they actually found me, but they just started reaching out, and I just took them into consideration. I built a very, very good relationship with the coaching staff at Sheridan. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was just the best fit for me.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly served you well. And I know I've talked to a lot of guys who have gone that JUCO route, and I have two questions for you here about the actual JUCO experience. Question one, I mean, how did that kind of prepare you for Division One basketball? And question two, how's the competition in JUCO? Because every guy is really trying to scrap to get into Division One, get on a
Right.
team to continue their career.
Right. Well, like you said, JUCO basketball, junior college basketball is very
Mm-hmm.
scrappy, and the pace is actually pretty fast. A lot of players in the national JUCO, college system, like they're very, very athletic. They're very fast. They're very
Mm-hmm.
physical. And another thing that I would say about junior college is that there are a lot of Division One, D2 players that leave their D1 school
Mm-hmm.
or D2 school and they go to the junior college, place.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say going to junior college, I'll say that I was tested a lot because I played a lot of D1 players
Mm-hmm.
that have transferred to the junior college level. So I'll say that it really helped me, on my physicality, and it really got me ready for going D1.
Oh, for sure. And I think you also get that aspect. I know you said you wanted to kind of stay local, but you end up going pretty far
Right.
away. So you get that experience of living away from home, kind of being in a new environment. Obviously with Robert
Right.
Morris, it's out in Pennsylvania. You've been traveling all the time, all around the country. And so I think that was a really good experience for you, both for your game and just like for college too. I mean, you
Yeah.
looked great. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, you looked great, this past season with Robert Morris. He averaged 13 points, 7.9 rebounds, 1.3 assists, shot the ball with 57%. Amazing efficiency right there. And I just want to ask you, I mean, how did you feel in your first season of Division One basketball? What was the experience like for you?
The experience was overall a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
Of course there was some, bumpy roads that I came across, but overall, I had great teammates. I have a great coaching staff that actually care about you as a person
Mm-hmm.
and as a player. So they just made, the transition really easier for me. So, I really appreciate them for that. But I mean, and then we won the conference
Mm-hmm.
championship. So that was like, it was an amazing, amazing season. I was very fortunate and blessed to be a part of this team. It was
I
great.
mean, yeah, not a bad first year at all. I don't think many guys can put together the resume after just one season of Division One college basketball that you've put together so far. So, I mean, I gotta ask about your style of play too. Cannot have an interview with you without talking about your style of play. You're listed at 6'7". You might not be the biggest guy on the court every night. You got a lot of guys a little bit taller
Right.
than you, but I've watched some of your highlights and your aggressiveness at the rim. I mean, it's second to none. You're slamming it home on guys left and right here. These are the plays we see on Sports Center. I'm gonna put some highlights in the interview here so the people can watch these. But I mean, where's that aggressiveness stem from? I mean, not every guy attacks the rim like you do. So what do you kind of attribute that to?
You know, I don't. I mean, I could say I just watch guys like LeBron. You
Hmm.
know how LeBron goes at the rim with his head down. He's just trying to punch on
Yeah.
people. I just say it just comes from LeBron because, like, when I say I love LeBron, like, I really watch his game every day. I really study
Hmm.
him. And, yeah, like, my aggressiveness just comes from being very, very
Hmm.
competitive. I'm very, very competitive. I just want to be the best in everything I do. So, like, that's pretty much it.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm just glad I'm not on the court under the rim when you're coming in through the lane because I'm telling you, as I said, we'll put some of these highlights in here, but it's ridiculous. The aggression, the passion. I mean, that is just physical basketball at its best right there. It is very LeBron-like. You can tell you've been watching some LeBron, watching some clips on him. So that is some just amazing play to see right there. And it makes basketball fun to watch. I mean, that's what everyone likes to see right there. So
Right.
that's just great right there. And I got to talk about your defensive game too. I mean, that's also been getting better and better. Last year you guys had a really good year, obviously. Won the Northeast Conference tournament, went 20-14. You can't do that without good defense. Where it stood out to me the most personally was that Marquette game, obviously. Marquette's a great home team. You guys walk into Milwaukee after not being home in a while. You were coming off trips from Ohio and Chicago. You held Marcus Howard, one of the best scorers in the nation, if not the best, to 11 points in 25 minutes. Guys kept it really close. It was a 68-64 loss, I believe. But that was in Milwaukee, and as I know, Marquette, unbelievable home team. How important has defense become to you, and what's some of the work that you and the team have been putting in over these, last few months to really try and hone that defense?
Well, defense is very, very important. Everyone says that defense wins championships, and that's absolutely true. In practice, the coaches stress defense, defense, defense. I mean, like, we're doing defensive slides. We have chairs between our legs doing defensive slides. Like, we're closing now. So we're constantly moving our feet. The coaches stress that defense is what wins championships. So as a team, we were just locked in. And that Marquette game, you could see that we try to be in the correct spots every time. Especially with someone like Marcus Howard. You can't be asleep. You always have to be alert. And I feel like our point guard Dante Tracy did a great job on him the whole night. So so it's pretty much like the coaching staff, like, they really stress defense, and they always tell us that offense is not going to bring in W's and not going to win the championship. So after hearing that so much, we kind of just locked in on the defensive end, and we got straight to work.
Yeah, the defense has been great. That's such a big part to the game, too, that I think often goes unnoticed now. I mean, everyone's kind of focused on offense, points. But with your guys' defense, I mean, it's just very scrappy. And I think you guys just kind of go out there and just try and confuse the other team. Don't let them get in a rhythm. So we saw that in many of your games this season, and it definitely paid off. Lead you guys to a championship, and I gotta ask, after you guys won the conference, I mean, what are the emotions like in the locker room? You guys obviously seem like you have great team chemistry. How was the emotion there? What'd you kind of do to celebrate?
Oh, man. The emotions was all over the place. That was actually my first time individually winning something that big, winning a championship in my first life. But as a team, all I can say is that we were just so happy. All of the hard work that we put in, all of the fights in the locker room and the battles in practice, all of the ups and downs. It just, like, that day was very, very special to us. And everything that we went through this year was very much worth it. So all I can say is that we were very, very happy.
Oh, no doubt.
Glad that we got it done.
No doubt. Yep. No doubt. I mean, that's really what you work for the entire year. So, I mean, I can only imagine how good it feels to finally reach that point, finally get that. And you come off a season like that. I mean, what are the goals for next year? I'm sure you guys are trying to go back to back.
Right. We actually just changed conferences, and we're going to the Horizon
League.
Yeah, we're going to the Horizon League, which is obviously a way much better league. The players are way more physical, way more athletic, very skilled. So, we're coming in as the underdogs, and all I can say is that we are very ready for it. We're going to work extremely hard, and it's going to be a challenge, but I'm very excited. Yeah,
I mean, when you go into a new conference like that, I just want to ask, is there anything your team kind of does to adjust right there? Are you guys kind of just going to go in with the same mindset that you had this past season, or are you going to try and change the game plan rather, a little bit to kind of fit that new conference?
Right. Well, changing the game plan, I'm not really sure of that. Like, my coaches would know more of that. But when it comes to the mindset, I'll say that myself, and I'm going to try to get my teammates, everyone to be coming with that very competitive mindset of trying to win every game. Like, we can't go in there thinking so low of ourselves. We have to have confidence, and we have to work extremely hard. So when it comes to the mindset, we just have to have the mindset and the mentality to win.
Yeah, I mean, you got some good teams in the Horizon League out there. I mean, Wright State had a great year. Northern Kentucky had
Right.
a really good year. And then you got a lot of teams just kind of middle of the pack that were really close. You know, like Green Bay, Youngstown was pretty close up there as well. So I think it's going to be a really good challenge for you guys. And you guys have that momentum coming off of your championship year. So I don't know if any team has went back to back with conference championships in two different conferences. So I think you guys are in kind of a good spot to make history right here. So definitely something to kind of motivate you guys for this season. I always like to end on two questions here, AJ. The first one, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with this, and then the second one, you might have thought about it, you might have not. But the first question here, I mean, we know you play aggressive. If you could dunk on any NBA player, past or present, who would it be and why?
Any player.
Any player.
I would have to go with LeBron.
There you go.
Like, I would love to dunk on LeBron. Yeah, I would love to dunk on LeBron.
There you go. Student dunking on the teacher right there. I like that. Going for the top dog.
Yeah, I would love to dunk on LeBron.
Yeah,
sure.
that'd be a good one. And we'd post it all over the site. We'd make sure to cover it well. It'd be all over SportsCenter. You already know. And might happen down the road in the future. I mean, that leads me to my next question. 5 years down the road from now, 2025, Robert Morris days are behind you. You guys might have, 2-3 championships to your name in the Horizon League. I mean, what would be the ideal situation for AJ Bramah? Where would you kind of be at? I mean, NBA coaching, something else. I mean, what would you like to be doing, in the year 2025?
In the year 2025, I honestly see myself, if not in the top tier league in Europe or China, I see myself in the NBA for sure.
Mm-hmm.
In the next 5 years.
There you go.
Absolutely.
If you had to pick a team, what team would you be on?
I would either have to go with the Golden State Warriors because that's home, or the LA Lakers
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
I like that. Sticking with the California teams, I'm sure you'd be a fan favorite.
Absolutely.
Coming from Cali.
Absolutely.
So
right, absolutely.
That'd be great. I mean, that's every kid's dream right there growing up. So I mean, that is the peak, just kind of the peak situation. And I like how you're shooting high for it, and you've set yourself up really nicely to achieve that goal someday. I mean, congrats on a great season at Robert Morris. Congrats on your championship. I mean, that must have been...
Thank you so much.
No problem. I mean, that must have been fantastic. And, I mean, best of luck this next season. I know you guys are in the new conference. Hopefully you guys get started on time and everything. I know everyone's kind of hoping for that. The NCAA definitely kind of rearranging some things to try and make everything work. So we'll see what happens there. But AJ, I mean, thanks so much for joining us here on the site today. It was awesome to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
No problem at all. We'll put your Twitter down below so people can follow your career here at Robert Morris and also beyond when you're playing for the Lakers or Golden State, maybe dunking over LeBron. We'll see what happens. And we'll also put a link. We'll also put a link to Robert Morris's website down below so you guys can follow for news and updates on the basketball team this season in their first year in the Horizon League. But guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Edge Sports Network. And as always, we'll see you guys next time.